Vergil showed me a few fights ago that he had a dimension I didn't know he had. When he was just, going through guys, knocking them out with body shots, sinking and destroying. I don't think I knew or anyone knew that he had the ability to use his legs and box and do some boxing. I mean, he won that fight handy. So he showed me those dimensions of more than just, seek and destroy. And that would be an interest. And then, of course, the giant.
Teddy Atlas has seen generations of great fighters, so it takes something special to catch his attention. But that's exactly what Vergil Ortiz did, breaking down a potential fight with Boots Ennis. Atlas explained why Ortiz shocked him and why this matchup could deliver fireworks from the opening bell.
I'd sign up to watch either one of those. If it's Ortiz, it'll be, it could be a phone booth fight. Two good body punches. Two confident guys, two guys with great heart. Look.
He's also watched Vergil Ortiz round out his toolkit lately. The old label, a fighter who just hunts and finishes, doesn't fit anymore. Teddy pointed to the legwork and the willingness to actually box now, layers that make him a far tougher puzzle to solve than the version fans remember from a few years back.
Vergil showed me a few fights ago that he had a dimension I didn't know he had. When he was just, going through guys, knocking them out with body shots, sinking and destroying. I don't think I knew or anyone knew that he had the ability to use his legs and box and do some boxing. He showed me that dimension. He showed me that dimension in that fight that some people thought he lost. First fight that he got tested. We didn't get a knockout. With
Sergey Bohachuk.
There it is.
Teddy zeroed in on his previous fights as proof of concept. That's where Ortiz showed he could handle real tactical pressure, boxing when the moment called for it instead of hunting for the finish. That's the growth Teddy keeps coming back to. If that level of skill can get tested, it tells you exactly why a clash with Boots Ennis carries so much weight.
He showed me that he could box. He could use his legs, and Matador fight.
Madrimov, yeah.
Madrimov, who gave Crawford a tough fight, Let's not forget that. Crawford, first time he's moving up to that weight, I get it, but he gave him a tough fight. The great Crawford gave him a tough fight. He handled him, pretty well. He won that fight handy. So he showed me those dimensions of more than just, seek and destroy. And that would be an interest. And then, of course, the giant.
And Chris Algieri believes the appeal of a potential Vergil Ortiz Jr. versus Jaron Boots Ennis showdown goes beyond trash talk. At the same time, he notes that Ortiz carries a similarly understated personality, making the matchup compelling because the focus stays on the action rather than the theatrics. Their brief face-off was enough to generate genuine excitement for him.
Like Boots, I'm gonna come, sign the contract, put us in the ring, let me whoop your ass. Like, I don't want to do all this, pageantry beforehand.
It's very like
now. You literally have to now, but it's very Marvin Hagler-esque, and in this day and age, it's refreshing for me to see a guy like him who's just kind of like whatever. But actually, Ortiz is kind of like that too. So the build-up for this fight is going to be a lot of that. Although their back and forth in the ring was pretty solid, pretty interesting. Got me excited. Got the hair on my neck raising. I'm like, ooh.
Meanwhile, Sergio isn't denying what Boots brings to the table. He'll give him credit for that, but when it comes down to picking a side, he's leaning toward Ortiz, describing him in near mythical terms as a force to be reckoned with. His reasoning centers on the physical gulf, add in a high guard defensive shell, and Sergio doesn't see Boots simply stand against someone built like that.
Nah, man, I would favor Vergil in that one slightly. I'm telling you, man, Vergil's a monster, and he's accustomed to seeing guys like this. It'll be a fight that I expected tonight. I don't think Boots does what he did with Santos against Vergil. Vergil's too big, too strong, too powerful. He has a wicked jab too. He has that high defense guard. I don't know, man, but I would love to see it.
On the tactical side, Sergio doesn't dispute where Boots has the edge. The sharpness and the defensive instincts are all real advantages, but he keeps coming back to one factor that trumps the rest, the physical disparity between them. His read is that this fight goes the distance. That's exactly the scenario where Ortiz's raw power starts to tip things in his favor.
If you're asking me, I would still pick Ortiz. I've been calling this kid's fight since the beginning, man. Boots is special, but size matters. You know, the size of the fighter matters, and the power will be on Vergil's side. You know, the defense and the sharpness and the speed will be on Boots' side, but I don't think that fight ends early. It goes late, and you got to favor size if it goes late. But I mean, I can be wrong.
Would you see a stoppage in that one?
Oh, man, I would have to think there's too much firepower. Absolutely, man.
While plenty of contenders play it safe and wait for an opportunity to knock, Vergil Ortiz isn't waiting in line for anybody. Whereas the boxing world debates who tests him more, Ortiz has already answered the question himself. He wants both. Boots Ennis, Sebastian Fondora. Instead of the softest route to a title shot, he's calling out the two toughest names on the board.
And I just want the best fights, no matter who it is. Jaron Ennis, Fondora, anyone with the belt. You know, there's really not anyone in the top 10 that I haven't fought or that I haven't tried to fight. You know, at this point, you know, people just need to take the fights, you know, and a lot of people want to say, how come you haven't tried this route? You know, just because I'm not calling people out on social media like everyone else does, doesn't mean I'm telling my manager, hey, let's make this fight. That doesn't mean I'm not talking to the WBC like, hey, how come we haven't made this fight happen yet? You know what I mean? Like,
For all the talk swirling around who Vergil Ortiz should fight next, he made clear the holdup was never coming from his end. He's been giving the green light on a Boots Ennis matchup for a while now, watching the fight stall out despite his willingness, and he made a point of saying that's not on him.
I've been pushing for the fight. You know, every time they me, I give them the green light. You know, it's only been one-sided green lights coming from out over here. The reason that the fight hasn't happened is simply because they haven't taken the fight.
You know, Eddie Hearn said this week that the deal that was agreed to prior to Boots' most recent fight is now no longer the deal that's in play. Effectively, Vergil, what he's saying is that there need to be concessions on your side. Are there concessions?
His frustration runs just as deep on the title front. As the interim champion chasing consolidation, Ortiz confirmed he's already been in contact with WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman about lining up Sebastian Fondora, and he's left wondering why that opportunity still hasn't come through.
Well, we already called Mauricio Sulaiman, and we've asked for this fight before. We asked for it when in person, when we met with Golden Boy. We were on the phone side by side with Golden Boy with Mauricio, and we asked for the fight. I am also not going to pretend I know how it works either, because I thought that if you had the interim, you were next in line. So, I mean, I'm just as confused as everybody else.
Sergio isn't so sure the timing lines up. 9 months tangled in legal battles with Golden Boy has taken some shine off the momentum, in his view, and he floated the idea that Ortiz might need a warm-up fight first to shake off the rust and get back to that peak dangerous form before stepping in with Boots.
Well, look, I'm glad he's back, but it took 9 months of a year that he hasn't fought in. 2026 should have been the year that set up this fight red hot. After he knocked out Lubin and Ennis looked great himself, it should have been there. It would have sold itself. But now 9 months separated us because of this legal dispute. 9 months is a long time, Annex. People forget quick. You got to remember, we're in the short-term business. Everything's red hot. Everything's social media. Everything's this. Now, people need to be reminded, and we're not reminded because 9 months had to pass.
Chris pushed back hard on that read. He doesn't see any appetite in the market for anything other than Boots and Ortiz, squaring off right now, pointing out that every major player, from De La Hoya to Ortiz himself to Meridian and Robert Garcia, has already said publicly they're ready to make it happen without delay.
Boots' fight will not happen next. My response to that is why? Because, Sergio, you have had, in the last 24 to 48 hours, Oscar De La Hoya, Vergil Ortiz, Rick Meridian, Robert Garcia, all four of them saying that we're ready to fight Boots Ennis next. So why do you think that you know better than all four of the people that are involved that we should get one more interim fight against who knows? I don't even know who you want him to fight. Vergil's already beat up on the lesser contenders.
That set up the deeper money conversation. Boots' recent title wins have significantly raised his standing, and the discussion turned to whether Team Ortiz is prepared to bend on the business side, including the A-side designation and the purse split, to finally get the contract signed. Ultimately, the question became whether both sides are willing to compromise enough to make one of boxing's biggest potential fights a reality.
It'd be interesting because when it comes to leverage, that's who gets the most money. Well, usually it's popularity, but leverage comes when you're red hot, like I keep saying. And right now, Boots is red hot. So the leverage is on Boots' side, and I think the popularity still might be on Vergil's side. You know, I think he will be the A side as far as the promotion goes. I don't know why I think that. I think
he's not going to be. This is something else that Rick Morigi.
Where is it going to be at? Depends where this fight's at.
Vegas.
That's where the A side is.
Vegas.
Who's going to be the A side fighter there?
Boots Ennis.
Adding his perspective to this, the Blue Blood sports host didn't hold back on the resume gap between the two. Ortiz remains a top contender, sure, but Ennis has already climbed higher, a two-division unified champion, which is exactly why he sees any A-side demand from the Ortiz camp as out of step with reality. To him, rankings alone shouldn't dictate leverage when the titles tell a different story.
And he's never been a world champion. He's praised as if he has accomplished the things that the Phenom, as I refer to him, undefeated, two-division, unified world champion, lineal welterweight, Ring Magazine, IBF, WBA welterweight champion, and now unified WBO, WBA junior middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is number 6 on my pound-for-pound list, in Jaron Boots Ennis, who has 36 wins.
That resume gap fed directly into his broader strategy for Ennis. Rather than rushing into the Ortiz fight now, he argued Ennis would be better served chasing undisputed status first, going after names like Josh Kelly to pile up titles and put pressure on everyone else in the division to make the next move. In his eyes, patience now could mean far greater leverage later.
And I'm glad Jaron Ennis go collect them other belts. Now, I don't want him to fight Vergil Ortiz until he's undisputed. Don't fight him until Jaron Ennis, you beat Fondora, force his hand, get Josh Kelly next, low-hanging fruit. Reason I say that is because they're on the same side of the street. They both with Matchroom. Josh Kelly's the IBF champion. He's with Eddie Hearn. He fights next month. Make that happen.
While True Media Podcast laid out just how far Boots Ennis was reportedly willing to go to make this fight real, accepting less money, stepping into the B-side role, even agreeing to specific appearance requests just to get it across the line. Despite all that, the fight still didn't come together, and that outcome pushed the host to a clear conclusion. It's time for Team Boots to stop chasing this one and start looking elsewhere.
You seeing the video from Eddie Hearn, I'm gonna drop a video on that about all of the stuff that you had to concede to in order to fight Vergil Ortiz.
We accepted that fight and signed for that fight. Boots had to take less money than Vergil Ortiz because they wouldn't take it unless he did. Boots had to be the B side. They said it has to be Ortiz against Boots. I said, why? No one's got a world championship. No, we're not taking the fight unless it is. Okay. They even asked him to cut his beard and not wear colourful gloves.
The talk of showdown between Fondora and Vergil has been circling for a while now, and Fondora has mentioned exactly where he stands on it. As a fighter, he explained, saying yes just comes with the territory. It's less about picking opponents and more about answering the call whenever it comes.
He's Mexico against the world. You want that fight. How badly do you want that fight? And how realistic is that fight? Can it be made?
Badly? I'm not gonna say badly. They asked me. Those guys came up to me. The same guys we're talking about right now. They came up to me and they said, "Hey, would you be willing to fight Vergil Ortiz on the Mexico card?" I didn't even know there was no Mexico card. I thought Canelo was just gonna fight. And the answer is gonna be yes. I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. Of course I would fight, but I will fight him just like I'll fight every other big name in this division.
He also made clear that Ortiz doesn't hold any special place on his radar, just another name among the division's elite. He'd stated plainly that he's ready to face him the same way he's ready to face every other top contender out there, keeping his tone even and professional rather than treating it like a bigger deal than it is.
Can I squeeze one more in? One more, just okay. undisputed is no longer a goal because of what happened with the WBO? You just gotta have sour taste in your mouth?
It's not that it's not a goal no more. It's just things have to work out in the right way, you know. It's just, you can't demand certain things and expect certain things, or ask me to jump and then I'm supposed to say how high. No, that's not how it works. This is a business. Everybody needs to work together. I'm willing to fight the champions.
Building on that, Sean Zittel dug into the tactical layers of this one, and their read centered on a gap in Fondora's resume. For all his accomplishments, he hasn't faced the kind of pressure and lightning-quick counterpunching that Ortiz specializes in. They pointed to Ortiz's tightened defense as the real difference maker, while noting that Fondora has shown cracks before against aggressive fighters who know how to work around his reach.
That's a
I got a lot of respect for Fondora, but
that's a heat that Fondora hasn't had to deal with, right?
I just look at Vergil's defense tightened up a little bit, and the way he was countering so quick, and remember Zoo, even right before he stopped Zoo, busted his nose up and hit him with some bombs. Hit him at will before he got cut in the first fight. Mendoza stopped him. Styles make fights, but compare what Fondora did with Lubin to what Ortiz just did with Lubin last night. Fondora, like Ortiz, has gotten better.
Yeah, Lubin helped.
Fondora
fought a better Lubin. He did.
But from there, the conversation shifted to how the fight might actually play out. Drawing comparisons to Ortiz's previous performance, Sean Porter weighed it against Fondora's own past battles and landed on a similar conclusion high-output fight where Ortiz keeps the pressure constant, the kind of style that historically wears down opponents who can't solve it across a full 12 rounds.
Naeem hit me yesterday, who's gonna win? I said my heart wants Lubin to win. He says, but what's really gonna happen? I said Lubin gonna catch Ortiz with something early and get his attention, and then I said, but Ortiz is gonna, put it on him, and eventually it's just gonna go 12 rounds of him getting rolled.
I didn't think he was gonna make it 12.
I thought he was gonna get rolled through 12.
I thought he was 6 to 8.
Yeah, me too.
Because I thought a warrior was coming to me.
Oh, he did. His name was Vergil Ortiz Jr.
Not trying to disrespect, but
you said all that. He helped him lose.
Moreover, Pita Garcia didn't mince words on his prediction, calling a knockout win for Ortiz over Fondora before anyone could accuse him of just being contrarian. He was quick to shut that framing down, insisting this wasn't hate talking. It was simply an honest read of what Ortiz is capable of. For him, the numbers and the eye test both point in the same direction.
Anything new with Vergil Ortiz? I think Vergil knocks out Fondora. What do you think?
I would love to see how this fight goes. Obviously.
Okay. Boots and Xander.
I like it. I like the fight.
Who wins?
I think Xander does a lot better than most people think. I think he does a lot better than most people think. I still think Boots wins. But I think Xander's going to give him a really competitive fight, a really good fight.
What does that mean?
I think it goes the distance. I don't think it's a stoppage. I think it goes the distance, and Ennis wins somewhere between 7-5, 8-4.
About Ortiz actually solving Fondora's length and awkward style, Pita laid out his blueprint, aggressive, Tyson-style head movement to slip past the reach advantage and get on the inside where the real damage happens. It's a plan built on closing distance fast and not giving Fondora room to reset.
Okay, what happened? Who is harder, Mendoza or Vergil?
Vergil. Yeah. No, Vergil will not come out.
Why do you say that? How would he reach him? How would he get in there? How would he do it?
I don't know. How would he get in there? Show it, Pita. How You'll hit him with the Mike Tyson head movement, and then bam. I see it. I see the vision.
So how do you see that? Vergil and Fondora, how's it?
I see Vergil hit him with the Mike Tyson head movement.
Yeah.
Bam. And then it's over. I see the vision. I see it.
What do you guys think? Vergil and Fondora, how does it end?
He didn't stop at strategy either. He walked through exactly how he sees it ending. His scenario has Ortiz timing a hook in round 2 as Fondora steps in behind his jab. He also addressed the obvious question of targeting the body, a tactic that sounds logical against someone Fondora's size, but Pita argued it's tougher to land than it looks given how Fondora fights on the inside and counters with sharp uppercuts of his own.
Let me explain. Round 2.
Round 2? On some Lubin fights?
They're jabbing. Fondora tries to come in. I don't know why he's sorry to the box. He comes in. Vergil just times him with a hook. He does the same move. And
okay, I have a technical question. If you're fighting Fondora, why wouldn't you go to the body? If you're fighting Fondora, why wouldn't you attack the body?
I'm sure people try it. He's still a really good fighter. He's still a good
He's
fighter.
a good inside
I'm just saying,
fighter. Like, he has some mean uppercuts.
Everybody's like hyping him up recently just because Keith Thurman went, come on, Keith Thurman.
The debate isn't slowing down, and neither is Ortiz. Whether it's Boots or Fondora standing across from him next, one thing is clear. He's not waiting around, and the division should be paying attention. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss how this one plays out.